here because they
Right.
feel like you have to have, we call it a Canadian experience. You have to have a Canadian experience to qualify to work in certain job roles. And another thing is, I know a lot of people don't know this, but you have to dumb down your CV. If you have like a lot of like experience in certain managerial positions and you want to work at McDonald's, like doing I don't even know what they do. Being a teller, I think, I don't know. You have to dumb down your CV to fit that criteria. And sometimes people don't know it, so like they just like go and apply. So like yeah, it's difficult finding a job. Sometimes, like I've had people say, oh, they applied to McDonald's, they applied to a few other places, and they didn't get the job. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like I never applied. I don't know because I think I just didn't know if I wanted to work at McDonald's. Maybe I would have.
Wow.
This is Ghana. Okay. Let's go to Eko McLean, who is also with us via Zoom. MSBA, William and Mary, and he's also a content creator. I know Eko as a content creator, but maybe you can tell us what the MSBA, William and Mary is, Eko.
Yes, okay, thank you so much. For me, my experience for leaving Ghana is slightly different than everybody's. I got to a point where I was feeling, okay, I've done so much in Ghana because this is actually my second master's. I did my first master's in University of Ghana and my undergrad back in tech. So this is like a layer upon a layer, which is unnecessary because why would you need two masters? And I asked myself the same question. But I got to a point where I was feeling, okay, I am stagnated where I am, particularly in what I was doing as a content creator. Don't get me wrong, it was exciting. I had an amazing life back in Ghana. Somebody recommended this program for me or to me. And even throughout the time I was applying, it was just a fluke. Okay, let me see what happens. So even until like the very day I left Ghana, I didn't know I was supposed to leave until, let's say, like 12 hours before my flight.
Wow.
I worked with some amazing people. Waka now sponsored my ticket to come here. Shout out to them. And so I didn't really know I was going to come. I mean, yes, if I'm coming, that's fine. But if I don't, that's also fine. So I found myself here and I'm in this program. Particularly, I'm going to tell you what I told my immigration officers. Why am I coming to the US? So the whole plan I had for this program, that is, if I ever decided to move, was I am into content creation. Now the program is business analytics.
Okay.
So how do I apply this program to whatever I'm doing right now? The long-term goal of it is to establish my own content creation firm, which is backed by data. And essentially, this is what this program was offering me, a chance to apply data to business. But in a nutshell, it's just like another stage for me, another experience, a new town, a new country, new experience. Just come out there and spread my tentacles as wide as I can. So my story is not as exactly as many of the other people who have spoken before me.
There was
For
not
me,
that.
it's just one big cruise.
There was not that option in Ghana for you, right? Business analytics.
Not that I know of.
Okay.
And program is one of the oldest business analytics programs in the world, if I may speak on that authority. And it's very, you know how when something has an international perspective to it, it is more valued.
Good.
Exactly. It gave me like a global advantage as compared to an advantage. And I felt like I'd gotten to that point where a global advantage would be more beneficial to me. So that is why I took the step. Okay, if I come here and I establish myself here and come back to Ghana, get the necessary experience I need, I'm going to be awesome and phenomenal when I come back. So the goal was to make come back. So that's what it's all been about.
Wonderful. Eko, please hold on for us. We've taken you, we've taken Joycelyn, we've taken Victoria. We have to hear from the Tesla man, Dennis Aintree Boating, who is also a mechanical engineering student. And it's good that you brought that up, this whole thing about an international appeal. I want us to be very frank and honest. You've all experienced studying abroad. What gives studying abroad a more advantage to you than if you had in Ghana? Dennis, if you could take that for me.
Okay, so thank you very much for the opportunity. So for me, friend, from my experience, I think what gives us, those outside the country, more advantage is the power dynamics. We shouldn't forget that we are talking about these big countries like Germany, Canada, USA, and comparing it to back home in Ghana. Country-wise, these countries have power, like they are more developed than us. So once you study there, you kind of have some advantage over someone who studied in Ghana. It doesn't necessarily mean the education or the system we have here is extremely better than what we have home. At the end of the day, it's formal education. It's a little bit advanced than what we have home, but we still sit in class and learn. So the main advantage is that these countries are at an advantage position because of the country in which the schools are. And also, there are a lot of companies here, like Tesla, BMW. These big companies are located in these countries. So if you want to work in these countries, you have to at least study here, get the experience, opportunity to work in these companies. Yeah.
Please go ahead.
I was actually going to go on the internship.
Yeah.
How did you come by that opportunity to intern with Tesla, which is one of the biggest brands right now globally? How did you get that, and how is the experience?
Okay, so for me, I came to Germany because of the automotive industry. When I was coming to Germany, honestly, Tesla was not even in Germany. So my main focus was not because of Tesla, but the automotive industry.
Okay.
Prior to Tesla, I did an intern in BMW, so I got the German experience. But from someone who is coming from a country like that speaks English, I wanted to have the American also experience, as in working in an American company. So there are a lot of job opportunities here in Germany because it's super advanced. And since Tesla was new in Germany, it was actively recruiting, and most students were applying for it. And my role and my experience in BMW and my experience in Ghana played a major role for me getting the internship in Tesla.
Okay.
I would say that if I had not had working experience, national service experience I'm talking about, in Ghana, getting internship in BMW and in Tesla wouldn't have been very possible because most of my interview were surrounding the roles I did back home in Ghana.
Interesting. Okay, let's now talk to Kwame Asamoah Kwarteng, who will probably help us with this one. He's a writer and founder of Policy Corn. Kwame, in recent times, we've seen, not recent times, I think for the last few years, we've seen a lot of international higher education institutions reaching out to, Africans, Ghanaians, inviting them to come study abroad. We've seen a lot of these conferences and seminars that they hold in Ghana. How difficult or easy is it to apply to go to school abroad?
Thank you very much. So I am in the United Kingdom, Manchester to be precise. So I think it depends on the route to which you want to study in the UK. So for example, myself, I came here on a fully funded scholarship. So I did not go through the traditional route of having to find money elsewhere, go to the hustle and bustle to be able to get admission. So it was just a scholarship that I got, fully funded, but they paid everything, from doing my health checks in Ghana and my plane tickets and everything, stipends every month. Yeah, so that was it. But the UK is not particularly difficult to get admissions to school in the UK. You only have to write a solid personal statement, and then you are fine. That is how I see it. UK is very focused on your academic excellence, so they are not particularly interested in whether you have gone through hardship in Ghana, like the way a lot of people would want to position their personal statement to be. Yeah, so yeah, basically that. And I think there has been a lot of ongoing conversation about the commercialization of higher education in the UK. And so there is the idea that people find it easy to come to the UK just because the institutions have commercialized. And so they just need a lot more students to come in here. And then also because of the post-work study opportunities here. So the opportunities are not necessarily the jobs, but just the opportunity to be able to stay, has also led to a lot of people wanting to come here, doing everything that they could to come here. The difficulty, again, also depends on the school you want to go to. So like in the US, they have the Ivy League schools. When it comes to the UK, they have the Russell Group universities, right? So the Russell Group are supposed to also be the top-notch universities in the UK. I mean, it includes University of Manchester, where I am. It includes University of Oxford, Cambridge, Imperial College, University of Nottingham, all these universities. And so it is a little bit harder getting into those universities as opposed to getting to the other lower-ranked universities as well. So again, I would say that it depends on the school that you want to go into.
If you were to advise anybody, do you have a good?
Go first.
Yeah. If you were to advise anybody who wants to apply to a school, let's say in the UK, since you are in the UK, and this question can go for any of you. I like that you mentioned the Ivy League schools in America and the Russell Group in the UK.
Yeah, Russell Group.
And there are lower, of course, lower ranked schools as well. Some have said that the lower ranked schools abroad are just like the top universities in Ghana.
Yeah.
So if you were to advise anybody from your experience, would you say that a person should apply to a lower ranked school abroad or just attend a good school in Ghana?
I particularly do not agree to the assertion that you know, a lower ranked school in the UK is equivalent to a higher ranked school in Ghana. I particularly do not. I don't agree to that because I think we have different teaching dynamics, and I'm sure the gentleman that spoke from Germany will talk about it. Every school has their own system of teaching. So if I can just let you know how teaching happens in the UK, for example. So we have what we call so for every module that you take, you have the lecture and the seminar. So the lecture is when you are giving just an overview of the main topics of the specific subject that you are studying. The seminar is when they break you into smaller groups so that the lecturer can have that close and personal feel with you so that you can apply the concepts that they've taught you in the lecture to real life situations, right? The UK education is very theoretical and then focuses more on how you write. So it's not necessarily about, let's say, the truth in what you're saying in your essay. It's more about the structure of how your essay is and then the arguments that you are making. In Ghana, what I found was that it is not necessarily about the structure of your essay. It's more of the truth that you are saying. You get what I mean? So those are the difference. And so usually when Ghanaians come to the UK, it's not like we struggle, not because we are not intelligent or our schools didn't teach us well. It is just because here they are more focused on the structure. But then usually, let's say I studied international development with a focus on globalization, trade, and industry. That's what I did for my master's, right? And the issues that we are talking about, I am living it in Ghana, but then let's say the people here in the UK are just studying it. So you see the difference. So if I am writing my essay, because I'm living it, I am writing what I think is the truth, as opposed to the lecturer expecting a structured essay that is regardless of the truth. Right. So basically that is the bone of contention when it comes to whether you know, education here is better or the one in. So I just think that everybody is teaching from different perspectives. I'm pretty sure the gentleman in Germany can also share with you how the education is. I did my another master's in the US, for example, and then I saw that the MBA that I did in the US university, the structure was entirely different, which is being criticized by the UK as being very prescriptive. You know, so for example, let's say if you're given an assignment in the UK university, they ask you, what are the factors that contribute to climate change? Typically in Ghana, you're expected to write maybe 5 factors, right? Maybe for a 2,000-word essay. But then in the UK, actually, you are not expected to write 5. You're expected to write, let's say, 1 factor or 2, but go more into depth of that 1 factor. Right. So it's more about going more into depth. They want you to really drill down on that exact issue to make sure you've actually covered every aspect of that specific factor. So they're not going to assess you based on the number of factors you wrote. They're assessing you based on the detail you gave to that 1 factor you pointed out. Contrary to Ghana, you will be expected to write, let's say, 5. So you would say that you are a little bit shallow in terms of the details for each of them, because all of them are supposed to be 2,000 words. So again, it becomes harder to actually decipher which one is better than the other. I would always say that it is dependent on how the country has structured the education and the exact outcome that they want from their students.
Interesting.
Okay, so I will put this out to all of you. I don't know who would want to take it on, but
I
Kwame
think
mentioned. Say again.
I think I want to take on. I think I have a lot of contrary opinions to
Okay.
what he has.
In the UK.
So, for the program I'm studying, so I
Okay.
came to this school not knowing what exactly I was walking into. Apparently, in the US, apart from the regular Ivy schools, there are also Ivies, and my school is one of the oldest schools in America. It was actually like the second school founded in America. So, which means it has a lot of prestige and it has a lot of funding. So I'm here on a partial scholarship. They gave me about $30,000, but then unfortunately I had to pay the rest out of pocket, which is harsh, but I think it's a fair value for what I'm receiving here. So I had the privilege of going to Tech and going to Legon, which means when it comes to Ghanaian education, I had some of the most premium of them.
Yeah.
Now, what I realized that these two schools or these two classes of schools that I've been in, Ghana has a structure where it feels like you are in school as part of a system. Now, don't get me wrong, both have organized structures and systems. So I realized that what I took 4 years or maybe 2 years of my undergrad in University of Science and Technology to study, it only took 2 courses or 2 classes in this program I'm doing to just click everything. So I studied economics back in Tech. Statistically, there are some processes you have to go through, going to find ANOVA, correlation. Anybody who has studied statistics will bear with me that was hell, particularly having to find correlation with pen and paper. Now we get into this program and everything is automated. We're using our program, we're using Python, and in just one line of code, what would have taken a whole examination question in Ghana to clear through, it's just cleared with just one line of code. And we move on to the most important thing, which is application. I cannot bear witness to how the pen and paper approach for most of the courses we take, and I'm actually bearing with the universities because of infrastructure to some extent. At a point, we started to use SPSS, but it was only at the tail end, and the practicality of it was never sought up. But here I am seeing the practicality of everything that I had studied back in my undergrad days coming into fruition with just one line of code. And it's starting to make sense that, okay, there's a reason why there's a global ranking for many educational institutions. Some of the universities in Ghana have a very good ranking. But for where I am right now, he mentioned something about a lower ranked schools in some of these developed countries. If you check the global overall perspective or the global ranking, you'd find out that some of the universities in Ghana are probably much ranked lower as compared to the ones here. So when it comes to the value of the education you are receiving, you can actually tell there's a big difference.
Right.
And it's no disrespect to what we have back in our countries. We are doing so well. I think in the whole of West Africa, Ghana has one of the most respected institutions. But when you come up to a global ranking or a global perspective, you find out that there are so many positions or so many areas where we could lack. I mean, before my program even started, we had organizations or companies lining up for career fairs, trying to get us to sign up with them. And now as I speak, we haven't even gone through half of the fall semester, but half of my class have already gotten jobs.
Wow.
I mean, we are in interview stages for some job applications. And you start to realize at what point in our local universities are companies even coming to us with offer letters with a well-structured plan for your post-graduation? Okay, so after school, we want to employ you, want to give you a job, and we really want you to come on board. So you have like your life plan from this stage. You know exactly what you're learning into. You know exactly what company you're going into, what tools they use. Now the world is everything is computerized.
Yeah.
What tools are going to be used practically? unfortunately, for the education I received back in Ghana, I cannot speak to that effect. I studied economics, and for a large portion, I never saw the practicality of what I'd studied.
Right.
But 2 months in, and I am seeing, okay, I am using this to analyze this, or probably because it's a master's program, but talking to some of the undergrads who have studied business analytics, you can find out that the experiences are quite the same. The knowledge they're receiving is almost on the same level.
Interesting.
And it's something enough.
Echo, because we're running out of time. Because we're running out of time, Echo. I wanted to find out which of you are self-funding your
exactly
education.
what I was going to go to, because clearly the opportunities out there seem good, but then it definitely is going to be expensive. So
Definitely.
is there any aid set up for Ghanaians or Africans who would want to study abroad as well? And then for those of you who are self-funded, how
are you doing it?
difficult or how easy is it?
Okay, I am self-funded. Sorry,
Okay.
I cut you, but I am self-funded from the onstart. I haven't received any scholarships or funding, so
Okay.
my family's paying for it. And yeah, that is it. Is there scholarships? There is, but you have to be doing a research-based master's, and I'm not doing a research-based master's. I'm doing a course-based master's. Did I apply for funding? I think just one, and I'm trying to apply for it. The process just drains me out or stresses me out. And yeah, so for the first year and a half, my family paid, and I'm paying it now by myself because I'm working. So yeah, that's how I've been funding education.
How are you combining school and
Work.
work?
Beautifully amazed. I am combining it the very way I have combined it. I started. It's funny because I started back in Ghana because my visa delayed, so I was up at 12 a.m. every time in Ghana to hop on Zoom because of time zones. So yeah.
Maybe perhaps some other time we'll talk about how to get a student visa, how easy and difficult it is getting student visa, to study abroad. So that's Victoria.
Yeah.
Who else is self-funding?
Who else is self-funding or scholarship-based?
Okay, so me too, my story is similar to Victoria's own, just that in Germany, tertiary education is free, so we don't pay school fees. But there's something that's called blocked account that has to be paid every time you're going to renew your visa. That's around 11K or euros. So that process, for the first time from Ghana to Germany, my family took care of it. But subsequently, you're supposed to work or find ways and means to get this amount in order to extend your visa. So I didn't apply for any fund, scholarship, or for finishing a claim, like something in Germany that covers your education. So I'm finding myself, combining education and stuff.
And education is free, very different. I've paid over $50,000. Very different.
50,000, I'm paying 8,000.
Wow.
Okay, so I think Germany looks like the place to go.
We're coming to Germany.
Wow.
That's so cool. I mean, I think the important question to wrap the conversation, because we don't have time, will be, will you come home?
Lord knows.
Who is coming home?
No, I think.
Eventually.
I mean, Dr. Joycelyn is already home.
So eventually.
Also eventually, just say.
I think for me it's equally eventually, because for me it depends on the purpose people went there. So I did not come to the UK to study for economic reasons that I was wanting to relocate. No, I had a very good job in Ghana that I was doing.
Okay.
So I just came here because I got a very relaxed scholarship. It was one of a kind. So I don't know how other people were able to get that.
Yeah.
Because I had to study. I studied hard for it. They had very higher requirements. However, I came here with a specific purpose. I write on the cocoa chocolate issues, and I picked up that as my research area that I was coming to study, because my parents are cocoa farmers, right? So I had a personal interest in the cocoa sector, and I worked within the cocoa sector coincidentally. So I also had a working experience as well. So I wanted to come and get the research experience into how does global trade works, how does global industrialization works, how does trade work. But then the program that I chose at the University of Manchester was a program that was the only program offered in the world that combined globalization, trade, and industry. That's why I came here to study.
Beautiful.
And then so when I finished 2019. But the reason I'm here is because I was elected as the Student Union's General Secretary, which is the president, the first
Nice.
international student to be
Congratulations.
elected
Well
for that
done.
role.
Well done.
Yeah, so I did I did it for 2 years. It's also a paid role.
Right.
So you do it after school.
Right.
So it's a paid role.
Kwame,
You are paid every month.
Kwame, our network is going to, the call is going to go off shortly.
Yeah.
I just want to know from all of them, Echo, are you coming home, yes or no?
Oh, I will come home eventually. Because
Okay.
as on campus, right, I was recently elected as one of the social media ambassadors for the school.
Nice.
Which is kind of been like I was doing back in Ghana. So
Nice.
it's still exciting. And
Beautiful.
I'm still exploring the prospects
Beautiful.
of what it means to be here as opposed to coming home. But eventually we're all coming back home because Ghana needs all the
Yeah,
expertise.
definitely.
We are waiting for you
Definitely.
guys.
Aw.
Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time and for sharing your experience with us.
Yeah.
All right. A big thank you to Victoria Wood. She is a master's student and research assistant at the University of Calgary. And then we have Dr. Joycelyn Tal, Siedu Boateng, who is a medical doctor here, Police Hospital. Kwame Asamoah Kwarteng is the writer and founder of PolicyCon. And then Dennis Enchi Boateng, mechanical engineering student and intern at Tesla. Echo McLean, of course, MSBA, William and Mary, and he's also a popular content creator. Inti the cracker and say
Make her Germany.
Germany, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, applies
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Because if education is free, yeah, definitely.
And now they fun. Say
Let's do our thing.
Savings, there. Anyways, thank you guys for staying with us on Lifestyle Daily. Get ready. I'm getting a tattoo here. Stay with us.
Oh, I have one, but it's covered.